What's up, everybody? So, what's up, Aliens Conspiracy? How you doing, bud? Um, so today we are going to be talking about what's it called? Franchises. And I wasn't quite sure what we were going to talk about tonight. I kind of went back and forth on this for a little while. And what's up, Mash? Um, and the decision came when I saw something on Twitter. I was originally going to talk about sports tonight. Um, because there's a lot of issues going on with sports that I'm gonna get around to talking about it soon. Um, Hopefully have Star Wars Dog on to talk about it. I think that'll be something fun that he'll be passionate about. But I think this is an issue. I think the state of franchises is an issue and not only because you've got C or even D level material coming out of names like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and then even B minus and C plus material coming out of House of the Dragon, which even the most boring and even the worst episode of Game of Thrones, minus season 8, is still like a B plus show. So I think we got an issue here, and one of the reasons that I think there's an issue is because these studios aren't listening or they don't have connections to the fans. Now, we know that for gee, a freaking long time, 40, 50 years. One of the things that studios have used is they've used early screenings. If you ever walk down the sidewalk in LA, sometimes New York, sometimes even Atlanta now, um, there'll be people outside theaters kind of saying, "Hey, we're showing a early screening of a movie." They don't tell you what the movie is before you get in there, but we're just trying to get feedback from the community, and we want you to come in and look. And I think you either get a couple bucks or you get to go see the movie for free. That's, at least in my opinion, the valid payment. Some Star Wars Dog. Um, and so now what they're doing is, and let me share my beautiful screen here. Now what they're doing is assembling super fan focus groups to assess various materials for a franchise project to avoid social media backlash. Quote, they will tell us if you do that, fans are going to retaliate. If it's early enough and the movie isn't finished yet, we can make those kind of changes. So here's the biggest problem with that is no, you can't. There are very few. Let's go through the issues in uh, franchise products that we've had in the last. I mean, let's pick. We're gonna go through the Acolyte. We're gonna go through Rings of Power, House of the Dragon. Um, let's see, something with the Avengers. I'll pick one as we get to it. But if you go through them, let's start with the Acolyte. I at least watched enough of the Acolyte. I can start there. Um, so with the Acolyte, you have space witches who have basically done what Plagueis and Palpatine do to create Anakin. Um, well, you can't change that. I mean, sure, you could probably reword the script and say, "Hey, we need to go back, film this scene again, and change what they say." But then, how much does that change the story further down the road? It's the ripple effect. George R. R. Martin was talking about it in his in the what's it called, the blog post that disappeared. Um, if you change this small thing here, then it has ripples all the way through the project. So okay, you don't change. You change them being born of the Force, which is clearly, despite what 81 says, it's clearly what they were doing. So you change that. That changes the whole relationship of the two twins. It changes the let's call it importance. I don't really think it's important, but let's call it importance of the ceremony that they're doing there with the whole the dumb what was it? Power of one, power of two, power of many. What's up, Breezy? Thank you so much. I tell you, Breezy's a smart dude. Really smart dude. It's one too many times calling me handsome though, starting to freak me out. Where was I? Hang on 1 second, guys. Shit, where was I? Talking about, yeah, the Acolyte. So sure, maybe you can change that, but what you're not going to be able to change is the female centricness of that show. You're not going to be able to go back and change and make Osha and Mara, whatever the other chick's name. You're not going to be able to go back and change their story. You're not going to be able to rewrite the script. I don't know why it's recommended to you, dude, but that's your own problem. Great. Now I forgot where I was. Thanks, bud. Yeah, you're not going to be able to go back and rewrite the script. You're not going to be able to change what the Chinese guy does. You're not going to be able to change what Tom Baratheon ends up killing himself because he's so sad about his part, which wasn't even a part. You're not. There's so many issues in that show that having a super fan focus group would not have been able to fix because you don't have fans in the room writing the project. That's where the fans should be. If you want to have a focus group that sits there and kind of explains to the producers, the production company after the fact, after the majority of the stuff has been filmed, fine, good for you. But the people in the room making decisions should already be fans. That's where most of these problems come from. Let's go back to when Disney released those pictures of the writers' room for Star Wars, and like the majority of everything in there was all about diversity, having people of color in the show. We want more women. We need to tell stories about minorities. There wasn't a single like actual Star Wars thing associated with that until you got to like the 40th item on the list. And it was just, if I recall correctly, it was just the Force. It's like, okay, well, what about it? And Dave Filoni was in that room too. So that's the worst part about all of that. Let's see. I was hoping someone else would pop in by now. And look at that. The resident conspiracy theorist.
What's up,
man? Man, I can barely hear you. Well, it might just be the problem is when I go to turn my mic volume up as my headphones.
Yeah.
It jumps the gain. And so you can hear like every little sound coming out from around my house. It's just
I'll you can continue with your stream. I'll try to mess with my stuff if it sounds horrible.
Actually, you sound better now.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's I'll mess with it.
What do you think about this? What do you think about the idea of the super fan focus groups. Do you think that's going to help at all?
I mean, okay, so I was jumping on here. I didn't actually fully catch the last few minutes of what you're talking about, but the focus groups in general, from my understanding, are people that these studios hire, and then they try to do their own digging. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're fans of the IP or whatever they're working on.
So their claim is that they're going to go out and basically hire super fans. But the problem is Amazon did that with Rings of Power. Remember all the super fans that got flown out? Yeah. They were all of these Tolkien experts.
Well,
so excited.
First of all, do you hear me fine? I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Continue with what you're doing.
Jeez. Yeah, so they flew out these super fans who all happen to have, probably about 1 million people on their Instagram or their TikTok. And so they flew them out to London to watch, I think it was like the first two episodes in a castle. And almost all of those super fans, they get interviewed, or people start texting them or tweeting them throughout while the show's going. They're like, hey, what do you think of the show? And there was that one girl that did it, and if anyone in the chat knows who it was, let's find out. Rings of...
Well, okay, so while you're looking that up, remember Civil War in that part of the trailer?
Yeah.
Where he goes, well, what kind of American are you? Well, what kind of fan are they?
Exactly.
And that's kind of what I'm trying to get at, is that I feel like with these, situations, like, okay, who are they hiring? They're obviously not going to hire someone that's going to shit on everything or go against the grain in the terms of what they're trying to make, So these quote unquote super fans, are they super fans or are they paid fans? They might have a really good resume for what they're looking for and put in that they understand the stuff or have read a certain amount of source material. So to me, super fan, I think, is the one they're going to die on the hill. You know what I'm saying? They're going to die on the hill for whatever, like, they know their source material, like with Game of Thrones, our friend Pilgrim with Lord of the Rings, countless people that we know for Star Wars. That's kind of how I view a super fan, someone that's going to die on the hill. They're not going to let outside perspective influence what they think about it.
Exactly. So this was the big, like, I don't know how to describe it. So Amazon, I think, paid these 3 people on the right to promote the show. And they claimed to be big Lord of the Rings fans. And I'm gonna play the first couple seconds. And the girl on the right is the one that was in the middle of like a Instagram Live, I think it was. About halfway through the show, and she talks about how she's not watching it right now because she's waiting to binge it. Plus, House of the Dragon is going on right now, and it's really good. And it's like, okay, well, first off, you do 2 things at once, but also you're literally paid to promote the show. You're not even watching it, so what are you promoting?
Yeah.
Every time I was like, okay, take a breath, something new would happen. And it was...
It's Middle Earth, it's never peace, right? If, like, Sauron is hot, I feel like people will be like, I can fix him.
I'll try not to comment on that.
Yeah, this is the problem. This is because those are the people they'll hire.
Yeah, the shippers.
They're not going to hire me to tell them when they got something wrong.
Look,
they're those people who are going to just say, nah, Queen, it's good.
Well, but on top of that, if you heard the question, like he completely bypassed the question and goes into like sexuality and stuff. So exactly. Like if you're more concerned with who they're shipping and what characters are sexually attracted to each other, then like I'm not going to pay any time of day to listen to what you have to say about it.
I mean, that's right up there with. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Latest, maybe. Can't find it. Oh well. What was it? The Amazon Prime Twitter account the other night. The Amazon Prime Twitter account the other day. I think it was after the second to last episode. Posted a picture of Sauron and Galadriel, and we're like, okay, we ship them. And it's like, that's not what this is about. None of this is about sexualizing characters or wanting any of them to have certain relationships with any characters. The fact that they had Elrond kiss Galadriel and then had to backtrack and be like, no. It wasn't like a romantic kiss. It was a kiss saying goodbye.
Okay, no. He kissed her.
Shit.
He kissed her. And
you want to say goodbye to someone like that? You kiss them on the forehead.
Yeah, you don't
cheek or something like that.
You know, like
somebody click that.
My my little understanding of, because I didn't read the books, I've started them. I'm not further.
Mm-hmm.
I've only started the main trilogy, or the main storyline. Yeah. Still, like talking to a friend, they were explaining that situation, and Elrond, Galadriel is essentially supposed to be the mother-in-law, right?
Yeah, Galadriel is Elrond's mother-in-law.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
So
well, and is I might be all no, not yet. I was about to say is his mother-in-law right now, but no. I don't think she's had his wife yet.
Yeah,
but still, like, what the fuck?
Even as a normie, so the point that I was trying to make is that, like, even someone that doesn't, and to put a little background, I lasted about 4 episodes in the first season. I didn't even try to watch this one, but even as someone that doesn't know the extended lore and storyline of the original source material, like, people like us or like me, like, we still talk to people that do know what it's supposed to be. So for them to put that in and be like, oh, like, who are they pointing that to? Like, why put it in that scene? That's kind of what I'm trying to understand. Like, so that the majority of your fan base or watchers or viewers rather aren't going to actually know the nuances of the situation or why that makes it so important.
Yeah.
Or the bad things about Galadriel kissing Elrond.
But it's like they sit there and they go, what we need for this show is to have things that we're going to talk about. We need to, if you remember in the first season, it was very clear what they were trying to do was make quotes. They wanted stuff that we were going to quote, like "You shall not pass" for Frodo, those type of things. They wanted those moments. And you could tell with the whole
keep your secrets.
Oh, but no, what was the really dumb one? Hang on. I want to see if I can find it. Here we go.
Things and stuff, yeah. Potatoes, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
This one. Oh my god. This was shit.
So I don't even know what this scene is.
Because they look downwards to darkness. Boats float because they look up at shiny sky. Do you?
Are you kidding me?
Get it?
Wait, rewind that. Did he say Chinese sky?
Yeah.
Rocks are sinky because they look downwards to darkness. Boats float because they look up at shiny sky.
Okay, pause.
Shining sky.
Oh, shiny sky, not Chinese sky.
What does that even mean?
I mean, I don't know. I think they're trying to talk in poetry, right? They're trying to make the dialogue sound a lot
they were
like
hoping for all of these statements that or quotes that we were going to. They wanted they wanted their own winter is coming. That's what they wanted.
yeah.
But let's see.
Boat? Then I can be floaty like a boat?
I'm not entirely sure this is the actual video. I think it's just the video, so I think someone might be speaking behind it, or they've just got terrible frame rate issues. But
Felicity. they made an educated wish. That's funny. Yeah, look.
love that. What's up, Felicity?
But this is what I'm saying. These are the super fans that are putting out this material. Like they're like, oh yeah, that works. You know, like the kiss between a mom and a stepmom and a stepson is like that works. It doesn't matter about the other book.
Again, you know, you've got all these things that, 3, 5, 7% of your watchers are going to know that is incorrect. But it's the same thing that George said in his now deleted post. When you remove this one thing, you cause ripple effects that ruin the rest of your story.
For sure.
And when you've got how are you going to introduce Celebrimbor now? You've got 3 seasons left. How are you going to introduce her husband? Well, then you're going to have Team Celebrimbor and Team Elrond people. That's what they want. They think that sexualizing characters and having romance stories makes for better television, or makes for better water cooler talk. It's like, no, it doesn't. What relationships in Game of Thrones, what relationships with Lord of the Rings and Star Wars made people stop and go, holy shit, let's talk about this?
Well, and I'm of the mind that unless you're making a dedicated, specific story about love or relationships, it's not really necessary to the story you're telling. And they are adapting a story that's already made, which is not about relationships. It's about struggle, warfare, power, however you can slap a whole bunch of different adjectives onto what Lord of the Rings is about. But at the end of the day, when you do things like this, like what I'm Elrond and Galadriel, when you have an existing storyline and theme, and then you focus on something like that, like you put in a scene that had nothing to do with the plot, and you kind of push a romantic element to it. Like, to me, I'm sitting here like why? Like, what's the point? You know, like, why do I need to sit here and from book readers like yourself, to me, it's like disrespectful. Like, okay,
absolutely.
So, you're gonna
and what's so annoying is, do you think a studio would have the balls to go make a movie about Jesus Christ or Paul or any story out of the Bible and not at least attempt to do it justice? Sure, you can mess up by wanting to delve into like certain stories that may not be as well known in the Bible, and so you don't sell as well. But no one's going to touch a story out of the Bible and not go, okay, well, we need to do this right.
Well, it's almost like titling a movie or show Jesus, or the Last Supper, and then focusing purely on Mary of Magdala, and the whole,
absolutely, yeah.
And for people who aren't religious, there's a controversy within the Bible and all that other stuff about how she had an affair, all this other stuff. So, but point being,
and if anyone is trying to connect the dots there, the number 1 selling book in the 20th century was the Bible. The number 2 was Lord of the Rings. So to not put the care and dedication, which means that over 50% of this planet has read Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, well, and also
It is the second most translated book in history.
the
behind
Bible.
The Bible.
The Bible is also like, you could argue Star Wars, George Lucas, Star Wars, Chronicles of Narnia, and Lord of the Rings have heavily been influenced by the Bible. It's the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the best
Absolutely.
novel, quote unquote, right? That's
Yeah.
been. I'm not saying novel as it's
Tesla
all.
is literally a Jesus figure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then you could say Frodo is, like, in a sense, Jesus as well, like the chosen one to bring, peace to the realm. Like, it's not a direct translation. All I'm trying to say is that, like, it's heavily influenced.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, Tolkien was a devout Catholic. In fact,
Yeah.
we owe
Yeah.
Tolkien for C.S. Lewis's works because C.S. Lewis was a devout atheist. It was
Yeah.
only his friendship with Tolkien that made him change his beliefs. But what I think is so funny is that that tweet that I was showing earlier about the superfans thing comes with an article. So let's look at this article real quick. All about Amanda Stenberg, whatever her name is.
yeah, do you fuck with her discourse?
Dude, I never even watched the fucking video.
I had to.
It's so shit.
I don't fuck with your discourse.
So it's not a huge shock for me, she said. Since the series was announced in 2020, we started experiencing a rampage of, I would say, hyper-conservative bigotry and vitriol, prejudice, hatred, and hateful language toward us. I tell you what, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like a PR director.
Yeah.
In other words, the Acolyte was the latest high-profile target of, quote, toxic fandom. Or just fandom. Fans that don't want to see their products or their fandoms reduced to trash. You remove all of the highbrow, all of the stuff that made us love it in the 80s and 90s. What's it called? The description of this stream says, back in the 80s, I'm going to paraphrase here. Back in the 80s and 90s, a bunch of the franchises that we love got their start. Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Terminator, Alien. Well, Alien started in the 70s. Predator, all of that. 1 second. All of that started back then. And now we keep getting new entries to this, to these things. And they don't even hold a candle to their predecessors. And it's not like the ability to make a movie has gotten harder. It's not like the ability to write is more difficult now. So what is it? Well, I think it's obvious. You've got people that believe these crazy things, believe that in order to win an Oscar, you have to have gay people and trans people and black people in your shows and movies just to fight some. What is it that dumb bitch says? What has been?
What has been?
Unburdened by.
Yeah, unburdened by what has. No.
What will be unburdened
Yeah.
by what has been, which of course is part of the Communist Manifesto. But the whole thing is her saying that we have to right the wrongs of the past.
People that, yeah, no.
Today, it's like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't, because culture changes at the same rate that people do. Like when you look at it from a historical perspective, like we as humans today, 200 years ago, were completely different. So it's
And again, to say that I'd be punished for what my great grandfather might have done is retarded at best.
Well, but then flip it to the other side. What the good that like either of us, like our ancestors have done, you can't take credit for what they've done.
Absolutely.
Sure, they're okay. When you look at it in terms of building a country and a kingdom, yeah, like you can take pride in the name, but like you can't take credit for physically what they did to progress a culture or whatever, So, which is why it becomes kind of a controversial topic, because you will see the same people saying that, right? That like, okay, well, you guys can't forget about everything that happened 200 years ago, but my family did this. It's controversial in that sense.
Yeah. But then you have examples of this in not bad shows, but you have examples of this in shows like House of the Dragon season 2, which wasn't a bad show. I've said this several different times. There wasn't. It was worse than the first season, but the first season was great.
Yes.
The second season was fine. It was good, and enough happened to make it palpable. But
Look,
it didn't progress the story the way that a second season needed to do. And it kind of was pretty clear, at least I'd say about halfway through the season, that the writers felt that they had to redo some stuff.
well,
to change the interest that fans had.
and you and I have talked about this to an extent, privately. Like I've gotten, to that part in the book where like they changed a lot of stuff, So I think they did an all right job with how they did it, but at the end of the day, I feel like there was a lot that like unnecessary changes, specifically with Damon, So
Mhm.
I think it wasn't a bad show, but like they didn't really need to make the change that they did.
Mhm.
But I don't think there's someone sitting there as like, I don't think they had a super fan council. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So Breezy, the only pushback I'll give on this, on people just wanting nonstop action. I think there were definitely people that were expecting basically a new battle every episode. But the thing that annoyed me the most was the lack of progression in both Rhaenyra's and Daemon's story. We ended the story in the exact same position that we ended the story in season 1. Daemon kneeling before Rhaenyra, and that's not a problem. She's the queen. She's the sovereign. And it felt like we went through this whole arc of, is he going to try to usurp Rhaenyra, and all to make Daemon less liked, which, in my opinion, was a big failure of the season.
Not only that, they end the first season with Rhaenyra, like her son just got killed. She just found out about it.
Mhm.
She's super pissed. And then the whole season, she's like, all of a sudden, it feels like, oh, yeah, my son died. I'm still going to go to war. But at the same time, let's think about it. But they end the season with her thinking, visually, you see it in her face, like, I'm going to fuck people up for this.
Yeah.
And then they don't ever pay that off.
Yeah.
So I think that's also kind of another reason that drags on throughout. And you don't really see Rhaenyra throughout season 2 really, really compensating for that anger you see her at the end, right? Like, I think that's also pretty important to acknowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think they lost a lot of the anger that Rhaenyra had at the beginning of, or end of season 1, beginning of season 2, and it never really got back to, ooh, we gotta see some shit. Like, it never got back to this point of feeling for Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra seemed to change her target of feeling from her dead child to, the men around me are plotting against me.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, no, it does. Like at the end of the day, I still think House of the Dragon season 2 is
Mhm.
far better than anything else that's been put out next to maybe
Yeah.
Penguin, because the
Mhm.
Penguin actually is
Yeah,
very
I haven't started yet. I need to.
good. It's good.
It
Like-
looks very good. I need to start Tulsa King season 2 as well. I need to catch up on Mayor of Kingstown as well. But that's a great example. That's kind of a segue into another franchise that doesn't really seem to be doing anything but the right stuff, in Yellowstone. So we've got the rest of season 5 of Yellowstone comes out on November 10th, and I'm fairly surprised. I'm surprised that we haven't heard more about it. Like, if I was Paramount and this is my flagship thing, I would be pitching the shit out of that.
So I was talking to one of our friends about, Taylor Sheridan and Yellowstone. So he's also doing Empire of the Summer Moon. I don't know if you,
Yeah,
like
it's the
that.
story about the Comanches.
Yes, and I personally think he's going to put a lot of his budget with the studio into that and really focus on that. Like, obviously, it's hard to be excited for season 5 part 2 with Costner not being a part of it, but
Yeah, or not being a big part of it. He's still going to be in it. We know that.
he is.
Trailer. Yeah, he's in the trailer. And there's no way you can write the rest of season 5 without seeing Tom Costner. Now, whether or not it's let's say 25 minutes over the entire 8 or 9 episodes that they shot prior, or it's a bunch of B-roll from the prior seasons. What I think they're going to do is, I think there's going to be a bunch of like non close-ups where he can just do ADR.
Yeah,
he spend a day in LA reading through the script for ADR. That's what I think they're going to end up doing with it. But he's not out of the entire season. That's just
which I was worried about, especially with his individual project that I forgot the name of it, but when he's playing the Civil War veteran,
Horizon.
Like Verizon, or wait, Horizon.
Horizon.
Not Verizon. Horizon. Still, like it looked interesting to me, but then after talking to a few people, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna actually like invest in this, which it felt like it was taking away from like something really good with Yellowstone, so still I'm excited about it. I think we still have some good things, especially with Landman and
I'm really excited for Landman. Landman comes out
too. It looks fucking good.
And it looks really good. I'm not a huge fan of the description and upstairs downstairs. Doesn't really flow with me, but I'm very excited for it.
Well, so something that like I haven't asked you about yet is like, do you think there's going to be a connection to Yellowstone? Like,
okay, hang on a second. Okay, look, I don't know who the fuck you are, but get over yourself. Go start your own dumbassery and get the fuck off my shit, you dumb whore.
Yeah. No, he's out. You know what they're doing. But regardless, let's go back to what we were talking about.
What are we talking about now?
Yeah, no, I mean, I read it and kicked him. Fucking, so do you think there's going to be a connection between Landman and Yellowstone? Because I actually think there's a great opportunity to.
What?
Hey, Felicity, if I were to, I'm being respectful. I'll be honest. Like I'd probably say some worse words to the guy. But Caleb, do you think Do you think do you think there's something there with Landman and connection to Yellowstone?
So
I think they have an opportunity to connect it. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So I think
Sheridan verse.
I think it'll connect to the 4/6s. I don't really think it will connect to Yellowstone. There might be a comment here or there.
Yeah.
You know, those jackasses up in Montana.
But do you think it'll reside in the same universe?
Yeah, I think it's all going to be in the same.
That's really what I was asking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think they'll be, with them being in Texas, I think they'll be pretty close to the 4/6s, and we'll see. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if when 4/6s comes out, hopefully next year. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see characters from one of the shows in the other, but I don't think it will. I don't think we're going to see Rip in there. I don't think we're going to see what's the guy's name that leaves to go work at the 4/6s?
He's I forget his name too.
Jimmy.
Jimmy. Jimmy.
He's going to be the lead in the 4/6s.
Well, look, I think and you can correct me.
Honestly, 4/6s sounds like an awesome show.
Well, and also like they were just they filmed everything in Texas for this next season. Look, I'm excited for it. I think there still is a possibility that there might be one episode where they go to Texas, or they go to the 4/6 ranch, or maybe Rip ends up at the oil field for whatever reason, I could see it happening. I'm not betting on it, but I could see it happening that he's trying to connect everything together. I don't know. I think it'd be pretty interesting to see.
But what's funny is we're sitting here talking about a 3 or 4 shows that could or couldn't be connected, and how they can be connected. And what's funny about it is we know that the people and the person in charge, Taylor Sheridan, has a plan, because he writes everything himself. He's already fired showrunners and writers for Tulsa King, Mayors of Kingstown, and Bass Reeves, because he doesn't like the way that they were telling the story. So he's got a story that he wants to tell, and that's the problem with these other franchises. Let's go back to Star Wars. What's it called? The number 7.
The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens comes out, and blows up. Had over, what was it, like $2.4 billion. One of the most successful movies of all time. With the main problem of it being it's basically a rehash of
it.
But it was
there was the hype around it.
Yeah,
right?
It was clear after the second movie came out that no one involved had a clear vision of what the story was supposed to be.
And then to add on to that, by the third movie or third installment, they were all not only lost, but we had no idea where our characters were going. And when you compare the differences between those movies and the original 6, you had George Lucas being like, this is what I'm doing, and I've talked to you and our friend about how Sheridan, the Sicario movies,
absolutely
the second one wasn't great, but Sicario 1
was
fucking good, dude. It kept
in Mexico where he kills everyone.
Bro, it's fucking good. And then not only that, the innovation with filmmaking, I forget the cinematographer, but how you have it's Denis Villeneuve, who's doing the Dune movies. Yeah. He's the director, not cinematographer. He's the director of.
He directed it.
Yeah, look it up. Villeneuve did Sicario 1. I don't know about 2, but I know he did.
Yeah, Denis Villeneuve did number 2 or number 1.
Yeah, number 1. which I think might have it might have a difference with, or it might have a play in the difference of quality with
Yeah,
1 and
so
2.
Stefano Salima did number
And
2.
I really don't. I really don't know who Salima is.
I don't either. But he is attached for number 3.
But yes, and I don't want to bogart it, but like I have been excited for that.
So
But-
this thing, I really like who's the guy? I really like Benicio del Toro.
Oh yeah, Benicio
I
del
don't
Toro.
think he's in enough. I think he's got a very unique way of acting.
Well, not to say
So-
typecast, but I think he has a certain role that like he fits in well with. Do you
So,
agree?
Yeah. I always thought it was weird that he was the collector in Marvel. And look, there's another franchise. Look at the care that what's his name?
Also, look at what he did with look at what he did with what's it called? With Force Awakens, right? Or was it The Last Jedi? He's the guy that he's the guy that fucks over the he gets these big roles, or he gets these minor roles in big franchises,
Yeah.
And
Well,
other
see-
than Sheridan, I think Sheridan saw his potential and like gave him a big role in a small movie, which is the opposite of what I was trying to say. Is that like I think Benicio del Toro has legitimate talent, and I don't think it's used.
Oh, he was
Correct
a
me.
DJ in the last, he was a DJ on that planet.
Yeah, but
No,
He
they're
played-
not. No, they're not. No, not with Sheridan writing the story. He's gonna stick with Del Toro, but that is one of
yeah.
the funnier things I've read tonight.
I mean, dude, like, do you see what I'm saying though? Like, he gets these minor roles in big films, which I'm happy to see. Like, I'm happy to see someone like what's his name? Joaquin Phoenix do the
Mhm.
same thing. Like, he's getting these like big roles in minor atmospheres. Like, he's shit. What's up, King Chris?
What's up, King
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah. So, but you know what I'm saying, man. Like, I think it's similar with Benicio and Phoenix. Like, they both do a really good job acting. That like, but they're getting these like roles in like kind of shitty films.
Real quick, welcome, King Chris. Love that movie.
Again, I'm not okay. It's a little controversial what I just said, or contradictory. Like, because I don't think Sicario 1 is a bad film in any way. I just think it's
Right.
not like a well appreciated or known appreciated film.
Yeah, I think it's one of those movies that a lot of people have watched, but they didn't go to the theaters to watch it.
Well, dude,
They
it's
watched it when it came out.
that scene where they're rolling through Juarez with like 3 different
Well,
SUVs.
how about the scene where they're what 150 yards out of
Yeah.
the border thing? Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, bro, it's fucking sick. And then the night vision scene at the end where they're going through the tunnels, like, man, that's good filmmaking right there. Which I understand, like, going from Sicario 1 to 2, it's not like you don't have the same like passover or correlation, right? Like, because there's a clear difference of quality between the 2
Mhm.
films. But still, when like, dude, when they're going after the guy that killed Benicio del Toro's family,
Yeah.
and he gets there and he's like, he kills the whole family in front
Yeah,
of him.
he's sitting
Spoiler
there.
alert. Like, dude,
Yeah,
fuck.
it's crazy because the whole time you're kind of watching, and you're like, okay, well, he's not going to kill kids. No, it's a movie.
No,
No one,
but he does.
he kills kids. He kills the wife too. Holy
Yeah,
shit!
it's fucked, dude.
He
And
does
the
his
guy
movie,
just sits
like, he
there.
has
The
to
guy just
watch
sits
it.
there, is like, shit.
Yeah. So I was talking earlier about Marvel. This is kind of what brought up the whole Benicio del Toro thing, and rewind all the way to the beginning of the MCU, where you had Jon Favreau, who actually cared about the movie he was making. And then you've got all these projects that have come out in the last 5 years, where all anyone involved in these projects cares about making is a statement. All they want to do is say, this is why these people are bad. And these people are usually the fans. Like, how many of the Marvel projects have failed? Almost every single one of them. Almost every single Marvel project since Spider-Man Far From Home has failed, lost money. And since then, the actors and the actresses constantly, just with one exception, what was her name? I bet King Chris knows it. I bet he'll beat me to it. Shit, what was it? Iman Vellani. She played Miss Marvel. With the exception of her, she is the only actress, when asked, to not throw over fans or throw the fans under the bus. And I'll tell you one thing, that has earned her just a huge runway with anyone else that looks at this stuff, watches it, covers it. I don't think you will ever hear a YouTuber, a reporter, or anyone talk bad about her as a person because of her defense of us. And it wasn't really like, no, it wasn't like she got up there and said, stop doing that, that's wrong, you're talking about them in a bad. That's not what she did, because of course she wasn't going to do that. But she made sure not to say that it was the fans' fault that the movie did badly. She said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that there were a lot of decisions that Kevin Feige made that she understood and she liked, but she understands that fans didn't like it. And that's okay. And that's all anyone wants. If the Rings of Power dumbasses went out there, said, we really liked making this show, and we think that this does a good job of telling Tolkien's story. We understand that there are fans of Tolkien stories out there that do not agree with us, and we're sorry about that. We wish y'all did, but that's all. If they had done that, half the ammunition anyone has on YouTube, on Reddit, on whatever social networking, social media site you want to talk about, is gone overnight. Chris, I hope you're right. I really do hope you're right. But they seem to be, we just had how do you say her name again? Amandla Sternberg.
Yeah, Amandla.
Her do that dumbass rap song, and the entire
We don't fuck with your discourse.
Yeah.
Look, sorry. First of all, sorry for stepping away for a second there.
Absolute simplicity. Don't worry about it. You'll get paid to be on here, so do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
So
Look, I think it's retarded. State of franchise and stuff. And look, we haven't even dug it. We haven't tapped in scratched the surface of gaming. These franchises.
Well, and honestly, I thought about having our little Halo fan on to talk about that, but I think he's busy.
Yeah.
If you're watching, let me know.
Because look, in terms, it's I personally think gaming is just as bad as like in terms of franchises. We're in just as bad of a state as
Absolutely.
film.
Well, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit, but having done video games last week, I didn't want to like go straight into it. But look at what is happening with Ubisoft. I mean, dude, I forgot who it was that made the point, but Ubisoft was trading at like 80 euros. Now I don't. Let's see, 80 euros to dollars. $88. So granted, that was a while ago. So let's just call it $75 for inflation. Trading at $75. That's like almost Disney level.
Yeah.
And that's for a video game company. Like that's fucking awesome.
Well,
It's now trading at like $12.
well, look,
Now
Caleb.
that wasn't immediate. That it's been going down steadily for like the last 10 years. But the fact that they're sitting here at a point where they have to postpone their Black Samurai video game to release during Black History Month so that they can attack fans and call us racist during
It's the same thing. Sweet Baby Inc. with and then with everything that's happening on Twitter right now, with with film and TV shows. If you don't, their stock costs less than the current take up of coffee.
Yeah.
Well, Bidenomics, right?
Oh my God! Don't even get me started.
No, but Caleb, like what I was trying to kind of say there is that it's I don't see a difference with gaming and visual entertainment, like with shows and TV. Like they're more concerned about pleasing a certain crowd than the people that actually show up, which is why I find it funny.
But a small crowd too. Like, how did they get this power?
I think more so it's like who's at the top in power right now, and like it trickles down from the top to who's I don't know. I think personally it comes down to the point where the super fans are not actually the fans. The fans are you and I, right? Who are we willing to pay to play these games, pay to watch these movies, like go and like actually spend money and time to invest into.
Look, it blows my mind. Look, if you, what do you do again?
What?
You're a project manager for construction.
Oh yeah, I do commercial electric.
So someone calls, Amazon calls you and says, "Hey, we would like to build a new headquarters in Texas. Can you help us with that?" Now you answer that. You get off that phone by calling them assholes and bitches, right?
Yeah. So it works a little different, but you kind of have the right idea. Like
right.
it's more so they put the bid out there.
Yeah. In order to get their business, you degrade them, right?
Not degrade, but we give them a realistic idea of what it's going to take to build the building.
Okay, I think you're missing my point here.
I might be.
so in order to get business, you nag people, right?
Yes.
You call the person from Amazon. You call them an idiot, right?
Yes, in a respectful way. But yeah, you're
missing my point.
No.
I would go with myself. Okay.
I was gonna say, dude.
I think everyone else has got it. You'll love this. All right. So someone calls me and says, we want to use y'all to buy our house. And in order to make sure that they're happy, I make sure that their agent, who is the one that handles multiple closings, likes how we do things. What I don't do is I don't call them dumbasses. I don't call them fat. I don't make fun of their race. I don't make fun of their religion. I don't make fun of their history. I don't tell them that their business cards look dumb. That's what studios and that's what production companies are doing today to the people that actually will buy their product. Pandering for 0.03% of the world's population is the same thing as me making sure that an apartment complex likes the way I do business. I don't sell apartment complexes. I sell houses. So for an apartment complex to like me doesn't do shit for me. For a bunch of gay people to like Ubisoft who don't buy video games doesn't do shit for Ubisoft. And that's what pisses me off about all of this.
Yeah.
That you got all these companies that pander to people that don't help them.
Yeah. No, it's completely fair. And we're sitting here on the state of franchises. I think at the end of the day, they're not thinking about this stuff at all.
So this is kind of I saw something that kind of was about this. There was someone that was arguing, why don't men ask for safe spaces? Like, why don't we ask for areas that are just for men?
Because that's not our role.
Well, and it's because we had them. It was called work.
Yeah, but I think it's one and the same with what you and I are talking about. It's not our role.
There's that. We don't do it because we don't need to. We understand the fact that the world has changed. We don't all get to be buddy in the office anymore, but we also don't need to be. Honestly, I don't know where I'm going with that one.
Well, no. To what she's saying, it's you start showing vulnerability in that sense, you're gonna get eaten alive. Regardless, doesn't matter what politics it is. That's kind of how I feel. It's you start, you're gonna get taken advantage of.
So I'm deciding to ask this now because I've seen this picture going around, or I've seen this picture for about a year now, ever since one of your alien conspiracy podcasts, and I just need to know, King, did you take that picture? Is that your cat in a hoodie of yours, or out of a pant leg or something? Because there's no way you went to Google and went cat coming out of sweatshirt. So I just need to know. I've been very curious about that for a while now. So now we'll
I was curious too. From what he told me, it was he just found that photo. Yeah,
man.
Look, so I've been talking a lot too with Chris, at least on the video game side. Man, the franchises, we don't have many franchises on gaming, where you can trust and wholesomely put your you can't fully trust any of these franchises right now, which is why I'm trying to bring it up right now, state of franchises, right? I'm already I don't trust any of the fucking franchises that they're rebooting currently with entertainment, with movies and shows. But when it comes to gaming, it's kind of the same thing. You know what I'm saying? There's only a handful. Ubisoft 10 years ago was they're making the best single player games I've ever played.
Absolutely.
10 years to right now, they're fucking up harder than than anyone. It's the newer games that I want to play, and something like God of War, me and Chris have been talking a lot about God of War lately. It's, man, those games, I'm putting those games in like the best, like top category, like best games that have been made, and not just like
the new ones or all of them.
the new ones, because I didn't play the older ones, but I just went through Ragnarok and 2018. Man, some of the best storytelling, some of the best storytelling in the past 5 years. Like it beats Hogwarts, it beats Fallen Order, and
Well, if we're being honest, there's a lot of things that beat Hogwarts. What was so fun about Hogwarts was entering that world. Like I don't really remember a lot of the story, but I remember sitting there and like learning the spells and
yeah, the
being
world
able to
building.
do all that stuff. That was a lot of fun. So if they shore up the story issues and like expand on the lore stuff, their sequel could be really good.
Well, but I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, and I understand because you're an Xbox guy, and you know, the game, the God of War games aren't coming to PC until like this year. You know, so it's like you can't really have. I'm telling you right now, Caleb. Like, I know your gaming style. I'm pretty sure, like, if you played these games, you would agree with me on this. That like, they're elite. Like, they're really good. Like, they're well written. Because you like Mass Effect. Like, it's similar situation. Like, the gameplay might not be the top quality, but like the story is so good that like you get sucked into it. You know, so.
Well, you know what the original the original writer explained how he wanted to end the game. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
So the original ending was supposed to be in, and they cut it out, I think, with about 6 or 7 months left in development of God of War 3. But it was originally going to be Kratos killing off his deities and then meeting the other god killers of like Egypt, Norse, Roman, that kind of stuff, meeting up in Bethlehem and bowing to Christ.
Well,
That's
okay.
that's apparently how it's good. Now it was going to be done in like art form and like sort of like cave paintings,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's how it was supposed to end, and
So-
that's kind of cool.
So like me and Chris were just talking about this. Like, I kid you not, like 2 hours ago, maybe.
That's so funny.
Like the way the games ended, like they heavily influenced that you're going to Egypt, whether through Atreus, which is the son of
Mhm.
Kratos, or you're going to Egypt as Kratos yourself.
Yeah.
Like, so like we're going to Egypt. I think
I
regardless.
tell you, he's gonna win.
I mean, dude,
Right
like,
now, he's gonna win.
man, it's gonna get crazy. I think
He's got a really super cool power called Resurrection.
and in March, Caleb, they're gonna let you, like, they're gonna put all the God of War games on PC. I think you should
Some
play
of them already are. They're gonna put the original
No,
ones
but
on.
I'm talking about the last two, which are like where it's gonna continue the story. So I think you should play them. Like, I think you should play him, Caleb. I think you're gonna fucking love.
We've got God of War, the first one with the kid in it. Ragnarok is on here now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're
But I want to play the originals. That's my problem.
no, I know, and you should play them. But I'm just saying, like, I think once you play these newer ones, you're gonna understand. Like, dude, the gameplay is fun, and the story.
I've watched people play them. Yeah, it looks very
it's
fun.
different. I watched
I
people
agree.
play
I
them too, but I just finished them literally today. Like, dude, the last two games, like, I cried. I won't even like lie. Like, I cried on both the games. Like, not a lot, but like, dude, the storytelling is so fucking good, and you get drawn into wanting to play the what's that? You haven't played God of War 2018 or God of War? No, I'm telling you, man.
I play a lot of other games.
Yeah.
Have you played the game that I was screaming at? Fight me, King Chris. We can share. No sharing for you.
Look, Caleb, I was just trying to say, like, they're good games, man. Like, fucking emotional, like, good story, good gameplay. That's really all I was trying to sell you on.
I mean, you don't have to tell me. I'm well aware of the fact that they're good stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just haven't played them.
Yeah.
For no reason. There's no reason that I haven't played them. I just haven't played them. Let's see. I think we're about done. I don't know. I'm honestly, I'm a little talked out on all this. I did a really fun rant on how leftism and stuff like that is starting to affect Japanese products. You know, I did that last night. There's so many people that, and it looks like you're about to do the same thing, but there's so many people that claim that the way that Japanese society is set up, wokeism just can't affect it. And I think we've seen from several projects that that's just not the case. One of them being the deluxe remaster of Dead Rising that came out last week. They censor half the stuff. They took out the offensive Chinese guy, and they took out the redneck yelling about communism because they didn't want to hurt feelings. You know what? If you get far enough into that game to meet the redneck that hates communists, then your feelings aren't going to be hurt.
Well, also, if you're getting offended by stuff that's happening in different countries, like I'm sorry, you're just like soft.
Yeah, you're a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like I think Japan. I don't know if you saw the same thing. Japan had just said that they like nominated the best anime in the world as Dragon Ball Z. Did you see the same thing?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Little side note here. How's this feel? Does this hurt a little bit?
Megalopolis? I don't want to talk about Megalopolis. Fuck you, Felicity.
But I want to
look. Wait. First of all, before you continue, Caleb, Coppola, he's in the same category that we've talked about before. He needs to stop doing movies. He shouldn't have sold his vineyard to budget this movie. That look. I'm sorry, it just doesn't look good.
So you've been pretty pretty entertaining tonight. I wanted to give you an opportunity to simp. Because I know you want to. I know you really want to. How does this make you feel?
Okay, so you sent me this privately earlier this week. Based off of what so his son is doing the movie. Like it's his first like directional or directorial, or I don't know the exact word for it. I view this as Daniel Day-Lewis coming out of retirement to do his son a favor and set up his son to do well in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be totally honest. I don't think this plot sounds like great.
So I don't know anything about the plot other than literally what it says right there. Film explores the intricate relationship between fathers, sons, and brothers. What I will say is that sort of movie could absolutely take off if done right.
Yeah.
If it leans into actually being a man, fathers are going to take their sons to see this movie for 3 weeks.
I'm really hoping
you're going to see stuff that we've never seen. We haven't seen in a movie theater in 20 years.
I'm really hoping that you play God of War because the whole theme of father and son is a huge deal in those games. But what I will say with in terms of this movie is, depending on the actual plot line and story, I think that theme of father and son camaraderie and just all around the relationship between a father and a son and brothers could be really promising. But it's just, this is his, like, he literally is doing this movie to prop up his son in Hollywood. So that's where I'm kind of worried.
Which is something a father should do.
Yeah, 100%. But that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, given his talent, that it's going to be a fucking banger off the bat.
So what I am going to end with, I really wanted to trigger you. I was going to bring up something about Last of Us Season 2, but I decided not to.
Yeah, please don't.
Instead, let's see, where did he go? Nope. Where is it? Here we go. Okay. This is the article from that we were talking about an hour ago, basically. Sometimes toxic fandoms behave reactively. A House of the Dragon episode featuring two female characters kissing, and an episode of The Last of Us focusing on a gay couple were both review bombed. And then they explain what review bombing means. So this is what's fucking retarded about this. Pardon my French, Felicity. The episode of House of the Dragon, it was episode 5, I believe, that was found negatively by fans, was not because of two girls kissing, because we've had that throughout Game of Thrones. It was because it didn't work. You sat there and you had this woman telling another woman that her father raped her. Oh, I should have said that. That her father assaulted her and then tore the baby out of her. Rhaenyra goes and embraces her and then kisses her. She goes from a friendly act to sexual act in 10 seconds after hearing about one of the more gruesome things we've seen in Game of Thrones in Westeros since the first episode, the first episode of season 2, when the City Watch killed the baby in the brothel.
Yeah.
That's what people were upset about. Not because two girls hooked up. Like, come on. We're okay. Weird thing to say. We're okay with fucking incest in that show. And you think that grossed us out? And with Last of Us, it wasn't Nick Offerman and the other guy making out or having a gay relationship that pissed anyone off. It was the fact that in the first 2 episodes, and Damio will speak to this, the first 2 episodes were spot on the money. And then
it was bait and switch.
In episode 3, and then he tells everyone, I made sure that the first 2 episodes were great, so that you would watch the 3rd episode, and then watch that show.
And
people off.
Not only that, he made sure to say that, like, I only did what I did in the game so that people would buy it. Like, that's really why I call him Neil Cuckman, because he specifically said, I only did what I did in the game so that it wasn't a big deal. And then when I got the amount of people to buy the game and invest into it, that's where I wanted to tell my true story, was on screen. It's sickening. It like, you're a fucking fraud. Like, that's really, which is why when I hear people say that the show was good, like, I'm like, sure, the production was good, the acting was good. I don't give a fuck. You're taking a storyline that people invested in, and you fucked it the whole time. But I'll leave it there, because
so that shit That pisses me off.
Yeah, it pisses me
What
off
they're
too.
doing is they are taking. Look, it is very fair to say that there are people out there that hated Rose, Rose Tico in
Yeah,
Last
Yeah.
Jedi because she was an Asian girl. There are definitely people out there that do. There are 8 billion people on the planet.
yeah, but that's
There's at
not the
least
reason that the movie failed.
That is not the reason that the movie was not liked.
Yeah,
There are people out there that don't like that the Valerians in House of the Dragon are black.
but look,
It doesn't
it's-
work for the story.
it's
Hang on one second, Damian. Did he
Yeah.
do a good job? Fucking yes. He has done a fantastic job playing Corlys Valerian. But still, the story of the Dance of Dragons is that the realm went to war over the birthright of Rhaenyra and her children. And we know for a fact those are not Laenor Valerian's children. That is the issue with casting black actors to play the Valerians.
so okay. So I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue.
No, that was it.
So without too many spoilers, Angrboda, for people who haven't played Angrboda in God of War,
Okay.
she's been given a black skin tone, race, or whatever. She's a giant. Angrboda is a giant in actual Norse mythology. If you look, I think they're of the like 4,000 to 5,000 year old in history, like range. The people of Norse mythology did not know like black people. Like, I don't care that they're black or whatever, but one of my issues with God of War Ragnarok, they took a black character, or no, they took a real god or person in mythology, and they made them black. My brother's black. Like, I don't care about that stuff. But you're taking history and changing it and giving people who don't know about this stuff a personification that, like, just to meet a certain personification of pop culture. Like, that's really where I have my issue. I think it's the same thing with Corlys. I don't care what color you are. Like, when it comes to real life, when it comes to history, that's where I'm kind of like, okay, well, like, it's the same thing with Vikings Netflix, the Vikings Valhalla. Like, you're making Jarl Harkon of Kattegat a completely different skin color and skin tone. Like, that's where I'm like, okay, it doesn't make any sense. Like,
well, and the thing that bugs
rooted
me
in history.
the thing that gets me, I think this is going to be it. The thing that really gets me on when they do that is if they just came out and said, look, there are a lot of people in acting. There are black people that are actors. There are white people that are actors. There are gay people that are actors. There are short, tall,
Sure.
up, down, left, right, center. And this guy did a really good job in the casting call. So we wanted to put him in the show. That's fine if that's the reason. But then they use really dumb things, like the one they found a skeleton that's like 10,000 years old up in Scotland that has like ancestry with African tribes, and it's like, okay, well, what's more likely that the Gaelic tribes switched from being black to being white, or that somebody got sold somehow repetitively over the course of the continents?
Yeah.
Well, probably that last one.
Look, dude,
And I don't say this to like say, oh, these people should stay in their place or some bullshit like that. But these companies, these producers, these production companies that make these things, you need to pick. You can care about being totally progressive and having the the boxes checked off and the right people to win every award, or you can care about making good television and good movies. You can't do both. And if the best actor happens to be black, then cast him.
Exactly. Like we don't care about this stuff. Like, but like make it make sense. You know, that's kind of where I want to leave it at.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you. I'm a little ranted out.
I am too. I'm ranted out. I want to make some dinner. Thank you for having me on, Caleb.
Absolutely,
I
bud.
really appreciate it.
Everyone in the chat, thanks for coming. I think this has been one of my better live streams. I'm kind of enjoying getting back into doing a weekly thing. I think we're going to definitely keep State of as the name of the stream. I think Witten might have been a little too pigeonholed there.
I don't think people knew what Witten was.
Yeah, I don't think enough people watched.
I do.
I don't think enough people watched The Last Kingdom, or at least paid attention to it. But until next week, until next Thursday, tomorrow I'm going to try to finish Kingdom Come, and then Saturday I start Dark Souls. First time playing.
I'm gonna be tuning in, Caleb.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
First
tuning.
time. And Chris, if you thought me yelling at my computer playing Kingdom Come was bad, I already know this is gonna be bad.
Well, Caleb, I tried Elden Ring. That was hard, and that's been known to be the easier of the from software games.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking
good
forward.
luck. I saw that you're gonna jump into Dark Souls. I heard Dark Souls is hard as shit. So good luck.
What's gonna be so funny is I'm either gonna. I feel like it's gonna be a case of I'm either gonna beat it in a weekend, or I'm gonna be on the same guy for 5 streams.
Yeah, it's so funny. Chris's comment: Dark Souls, great series. Yeah, sure, but if you like to tear your hair out,
Yep. Everyone, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. We got less than 24 hours till the weekend, so let's power through, get through it. Have a great weekend.